Ferrari's protest against Verstappen title win. Ferrari boss vows to protest and tears into FIA as Leclerc penalty hands Verstappen title. Max Verstappen has secured his second world championship after a late penalty for Charles Leclerc. As why Ferrari protested against Verstappen and what really happened, let's dig deeper into it. In a series of events that had Formula One fans struggling to keep up, Verstappen was informed of his title win by Johnny Herbert during an interview. Verstappen was interviewed, Perez followed, and when word filtered through to Herbert that Leclerc had been penalized, Verstappen was called back for another interview and told he'd won the title. "Max, I think things may have changed for you," Herbert said. "Come back in." Charles got a 5-second penalty there after the little sort of race we had with Sergio. "World champion!" Verstappen laughed as he tried to register the shock. "Well, what can I say?" said the Red Bull superstar. "Incredible, of course. Very special also to do it here in front of all the Japanese fans. Incredible." Herbert attempted to continue the interview, but the hysterics took over, Verstappen racing to his team to celebrate as his fans went wild. A tally of 366 points was enough for Verstappen to clinch the World Championship, with Perez sitting in second on 253 and Leclerc in third on 252. Mattia Binotto has hit back at the FIA for its ridiculous and unacceptable decision to penalize Charles Leclerc. The Ferrari boss suggested it was wrong to award penalties without speaking to Leclerc and Sergio Perez about their last lap incident. The team principal even suggested he could appeal the decision, which could throw Max Verstappen's title win in doubt. Leclerc was handed a 5-second penalty moments after the checkered flag for running wide at the final chicane. This proved decisive as it gave Verstappen the 8-point advantage over Leclerc that he needed to secure the championship. Binotto also questioned why a decision was taken so quickly after it took hours to hand Perez a penalty in last week's Singapore Grand Prix. Talking to Sky Sport Italia, Binotto said, "I have little desire to comment. I think the choice of the FIA is ridiculous and unacceptable. In the last race, they took an infinite time to decide, while today a few seconds. There was no advantage gained by Charles. We will talk about it in the appropriate places, but this decision taken without even listening to drivers is unacceptable, as there was no advantage gained. Today, it took them a moment to give the penalty to Leclerc. 3 hours in Singapore with Perez, poor guy, who couldn't even follow the safety car. 2 identical infractions, but different penalties. Congratulations to Max for the victory and for the championship. He drove in an excellent way." However, Autosport has since reported that Binotto will not be appealing the decision. Race Control initially reported that the incident would be investigated, but issued the penalty just minutes later. It caused confusion over whether Verstappen had been crowned champion, with the Dutchman told post-race by Sky Sports F1 host Johnny Herbert. Perez backed the decision of the race stewards to award Leclerc a penalty for the last corner drama. He commented, "It was a bit hectic with Charles. Good racing. I tried to make a move, and he locked up and went off. The penalty was fair." Leclerc was unable to keep up with Verstappen as his intermediate tires began to wear. It allowed Perez to close up on the back of the Monegasque, with the pair battling in the closing stages. Leclerc looked set to hold on and take the title fight to the United States before his error right at the end. Lewis Hamilton also sends message to Max Verstappen as Red Bull star secures second world title. Lewis Hamilton has offered his congratulations to Max Verstappen after the Red Bull star was crowned Formula One world champion for a second time, before warning the Red Bull star Mercedes will be back at the front in 2023. Verstappen clinched his title in emphatic style after nearly half a minute clear of Sergio Perez to win the Japanese Grand Prix and secure his second crown with his 32nd race win. Verstappen has become only the 17th driver in F1 history to win multiple F1 Drivers' Championships and is now equal with the likes of Fernando Alonso, Mika Hakkinen, and Graham Hill in adding a second trophy to his collection. The Dutchman fought down the wire with Hamilton to snatch the 2021 crown from his grasp after a fiercely controversial Abu Dhabi Grand Prix last year. In 2022, Mercedes have been nowhere near Red Bull in terms of pace or race wins. However, as Hamilton has had to watch on while Verstappen strolls his way to becoming a double world champion. The 37-year-old sent a message of congratulations to his title rival and spoke positively about his hopes for next season, with Mercedes hoping to produce a car that is free of the porpoising and straight-line speed issues that have dogged them this season. "Well, congratulations to Max," Hamilton said, speaking to Sky Sports F1. "I think for us, we know what the problems are with this car, and I believe as a team we've not gone from being world champion to not being able to build a good car. I have no doubts we'll have a better car next year. Whether or not we'll rectify every issue that we've seen this year, we'll have to find out when we get there." Behind the podium finishers, Alpine's Esteban Ocon held off Lewis Hamilton to claim 4th place, with the 7-time world champion left frustrated by the lack of straight-line speed in his Mercedes, having hounded Ocon for the whole race without being able to pull off an overtake. Aston Martin's Sebastian Vettel recovered from a first-lap spin to take a brilliant 6th, having just held off Fernando Alonso's charging Alpine on the final lap. George Russell, Nicholas Latifi, and Lando Norris completed the rest of the point-scoring positions for Mercedes, Williams, and McLaren, respectively. Linked to Verstappen's consistency has been his ability to extract the maximum result from his weekend on the rare occasions things haven't gone his way. He was second behind Leclerc when Ferrari had a clearly faster race car in Austria, while Red Bull's strategy enabled Verstappen to vault ahead of his title rival and recover to 3rd in a chaotic rain-hit Monaco Grand Prix. A debris strike early in the British Grand Prix heavily comprised Verstappen's performance. Although he dropped out of contention for the win and struggled for pace over the remaining 37 laps, he was able to salvage important points in 7th. Verstappen's only other non-podium finish, another 7th place in Singapore, was down to a combination of a Red Bull fuel blunder in qualifying that left him out of position in 8th, and a rare driver error in the race. Despite dropping to 14th and last after being forced to make an unscheduled visit to the pits following a botched attempt to overtake McLaren's Lando Norris, Verstappen was still able to fight his way back into the top 10. One of the most remarkable stats about Verstappen's season is that he has achieved so many wins despite starting from pole position only 5 times. In contrast, Leclerc has been fastest in qualifying on 9 occasions. Some of Verstappen's best victories came from when he started lower down in the field. The 25-year-old turned winning into an inevitability and an expectation, no matter his grid position. In Hungary, Verstappen started 10th and won. In Belgium, he was 14th on the grid and won. At the Italian Grand Prix at Monza, he started 7th and won. Verstappen was unstoppable as he crushed the opposition on each occasion, performances that encapsulated the dominant nature of his charge to another championship triumph. Amid Verstappen's superiority in F1 this year, it's easy to forget the disastrous start to his title defense. The Dutchman was forced to retire twice in the opening 3 rounds as Red Bull battled early reliability issues, leaving Verstappen 46 points behind championship leader Charles Leclerc after the Australian Grand Prix in April. Verstappen said he didn't want to think about the championship fight after his second DNF in 3 races in Melbourne left him facing a mountain to climb. But Verstappen's response was phenomenal as he went on to win the following 3 races. Tell us your thoughts about all this in the comments section. Well, that's it from this video. We hope you enjoyed this video. If you'd like to see more of our content, please subscribe to our channel. We're so glad to have you here with us today, and we look forward to seeing you again soon. Bye-bye.